You know the drill. You're at the grocery store, the lines are a mile long. So you just zip over to the self-checkout, scan your stuff, pay, and you're out. Easy, right? It feels like the height of convenience. But behind that quick transaction, there's a really complex and, frankly, expensive story that is shaking up the entire retail world.
Okay, let's get right into it. That simple convenience, it's created a massive multi-billion-dollar headache for retailers. So the big question we're going to tackle is this. When we save a little time at the checkout, who's actually footing the bill for all the problems that it causes?
The story of self-checkout is just a classic tale of a solution that, created a whole new set of problems. Retailers, they love the idea of making things more efficient, but they pretty quickly ran into some very expensive and very human challenges.
And man, it happened fast. I mean, the first machines popped up in the early 90s, but just look at that explosion after 2003. In a little over a decade, we went from a few clunky prototypes to hundreds of thousands of these things, completely changing the front end of basically every store. It was nothing short of a retail revolution.
But here's the thing. This newfound convenience came with a serious, hidden price tag. The moment customers took control of the scanning, stores started seeing their losses just skyrocket in ways they never saw coming.
So in the retail world, they have a name for this kind of loss. It's called shrink. It's kind of the catch-all term for any inventory that just vanishes for reasons other than being sold. Could be theft, could be an error, doesn't matter. For decades, this was the #1 thing they tracked.
Okay, now this is where the story gets wild. Back in 2009, a report came out that sent actual shockwaves through the industry. It found that stores with self-checkout could see their shrink jump by a staggering 20 to 65%. To put that in perspective, for a big grocery chain, that could literally mean tens of millions of dollars in lost revenue every single year. A huge, unexpected cost.
So how does this even happen? Well, people get creative. The classic is the mismatched item. Ringing up that pricey organic steak as, say, a bunch of bananas. Then you've got your pass-arounds, where an item just sort of misses the scanner completely. And of course, the bold walk-offs, where people just bag everything and head for the door.
But here's the twist in the story. For years, the entire industry was just laser-focused on shrink, on catching thieves and fixing simple scanning errors. But they were missing the forest for the trees. The problem wasn't just about theft. It was way, way bigger than that.
And this quote from Professor Adrian Beck just hits the nail on the head. He basically argued that focusing only on shrink is like treating a cough when the patient actually has a much more serious illness. To really fix things, you have to go after the root cause of all the loss. And that led to a whole new idea: total retail loss.
And this is the perfect way to visualize the difference. Think of shrink as just the tip of the iceberg, right? It's the obvious stuff, like theft. But total retail loss, or TRL, that's the entire iceberg. It's a complete view of every single way a retailer loses money, from mistakes in the warehouse to waste in the supply chain.
So let's look at what's under the water here. Total retail loss covers things like fresh food that goes bad before it's sold, products that get damaged when an employee is stocking the shelves, coupon scams, even little pricing errors on gas. It turns out that for some businesses, these kinds of operational snafus can account for up to 80% of all their losses, way more than just theft.
So once they understood the real size of the problem, it demanded a much bigger and way smarter solution. Retailers realized they couldn't just watch customers more closely. They had to start building smarter stores from the ground up. The new goal wasn't just about preventing loss anymore. It became about creating an intelligent retail environment, a store that could see, understand, and react to everything happening in real time, from the back room all the way to the checkout lane. So, how do you build a store that's smart? Well, one of the coolest new tools is the AI-powered Smart Shelf. The concept sounds super high-tech, but it's actually pretty simple. When you pick an item up, a super precise scale in the shelf knows its exact weight. Then, the system's AI can recognize the product and check it at the register, flagging any problems in less than half a second. And this isn't just science fiction. A company called Shekel is a fantastic real-world example. Their Sentinel tech can be retrofitted onto normal shelves, turning them into these smart, data-gathering hubs. It doesn't just stop theft, it also gives the store live inventory data, which helps them keep shelves stocked way more efficiently. It's absolutely brilliant. And the results? They speak for themselves. This kind of tech can slash shrinkage by up to 40%.
And because it makes the whole operation run smoother, retailers often get a full return on their investment in less than a year. It's a total win-win.
So, what does this big shift from chasing shoplifters to building intelligent stores, what does it mean for our future shopping trips? Because it's about a lot more than just security.
For us, the shoppers, the benefits are actually pretty clear. It means a safer, smoother experience. Since the system already knows what's in your cart, checkout gets even faster. It also means the stuff you want is more likely to be on the shelf because the store knows exactly what it has in stock. And maybe best of all, these systems are designed to be totally intuitive. You don't have to learn a thing.
So this all brings us to one last question to think about. As this technology gets better and better, it's promising us a future with basically no lines and minimal theft. So it makes you wonder, when all the friction of shopping just disappears, what does that experience even become?